Thank you, Melanie. Thank you, Coach, for speaking to us.
Of course, Amari. How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Good, good.
Yes, to start with, Coach, the last game was a good game. Um, Fantastic stuff in there. How is the mood in general going to these last few games?
I would say it's as high as it's been all season as far as the vibe and the mood. Obviously, coming off a big win against Fort Lauderdale, who had given us problems a couple weeks earlier, was a confidence booster. The key was we started the game off on the right foot and with a lot of energy and immediately put them under pressure in a way where they actually took a red card, and that made things a lot easier for us. But even when teams go down a man, sometimes it gets a little iffy, and you lose your intensity, and then all of a sudden it becomes a battle. But we didn't allow that to happen, and our approach was very professional, and we took care of business.
Uh, when we started watching the teams when the season began, suddenly it looked like last week something clicked. It looked like things are falling in places right now. Is there changes? Is there something that has changed that you see in the camp?
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't say that. I would say winning, takes care of a lot of issues. That was our second win in a row, which we hadn't done all season. Um, I feel like there have been games during the season that we've actually played better than that. Yet we didn't score and we didn't finish our chances. So it was nothing different than we did, except you're playing against a team that's a man down and there's more space. Now sometimes you could take your foot off the pedal and relax and not get the result you want to. And as I said, we didn't do that. We kept pressuring. We kept, you know, uh, imposing ourselves on them in terms of possession and creating opportunities. And the more we create opportunities, the more chances we're going to score. And it's a numbers game. And I think if you look at our team, that's one area maybe we've improved. We create more chances, so our probability of scoring goals is more. And I'm hoping that continues here in the stretch run of the season.
So going to these last few games, there's a lot of pressure sometimes. Looking at where you are on the table,
Yeah.
how do you transmit the calmness to the group now that they still have to play their game, and be calm as they can?
Yeah, look, we've done a good job of putting ourselves in this position, and it, it wasn't without any pressure. So they've handled adversity and pressure well up to this point. And now it's in our hands. When you think about it, if we win all three games, we're in the postseason, we're in the playoffs, regardless. So that's got to be the mentality, and with that comes, yeah, we play better when we play with intensity, with a little urgency to our game, where we create more chances of goal scoring, and then we defend well. So as long as we do those things, I feel like the players are comfortable and they're confident that we can get the results we want.
Your opponent on Friday, how do you assess them throughout the season?
Up and down. They started the season on fire, and then they had a dip in form. And from there, it's been a little inconsistent with them. They had a coaching change. I think the new coach has tried to instill a new way of playing. So it's going to take some time for him to really establish that model. But they're a good team. They're a team that has a mix of veterans and young players, which is, I think, is a good mix. And I would compare them to Tampa Bay in terms of their work rate and willingness to battle throughout the game, but with a little bit more quality.
DC Power, if you look at some of the games, and you said it right there, that there are some games that you played better. And at some point in the season, it felt like it was the best team, really, just not getting the result
Yeah.
that you want.
Yeah, we got a lot of feedback. Like I immediately after games, there was 3 or 4 instances where other coaches from other teams would walk up to me and say, "You're playing the best football in the league." I remember the Carolina coach walked up to me and said exactly those words. He said, "There's no one playing better football than you guys. You've just been a little unlucky." But you make your own luck. You gotta die for the ball inside the 18. You gotta get numbers inside the 18. You gotta try to finish your chances. And there have been numerous games where we've let other teams off the hook and not buried them. So now we're in a fight for our lives, but at the same time, I feel like we have the upper hand because everything is in our hands.
The last thing for me, if you can comment a little bit about Sid, the club announced this week that she extended her contract. She has been really solid on the back. She's like a pillar on the back there.
Yeah.
If you can you can tell us a little bit more about Sid.
Yeah, she's a key player for us. A leader, a vocal leader on the field. Organizes the team. When the team goes through adversity, she's the one that picks everybody up. When you see we give up a goal, she gets everybody together in the middle of the field, and they have their own talk. That's all Sid, and I think she leads by example with her play. She brings it every game. There's never that you think, okay, she's not putting the energy out there. She's not really trying her best. And that's the type of player we want here. A player that's consistently putting the effort out. Sometimes, your game is not on or you're not at the top of your game, but your effort needs to be there all the time, and you get to set by example. And Sid does that game in and game out, and she is, as you said, she's a pillar for our team.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you.